Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Katie and today we are going to be creating a Christmas card using the Serenity paper pack from Close to My Heart along with a retired stamp set. So here is just a close-up of the card that we will be creating today, and the vast majority of these products are still available, just the stamp set. But if you have any kind of stamp set similar that could go with the theme, you can go ahead and use that as well. So like I said, we are using the Serenity paper pack, and that is a new paper pack from the November-December catalog from Close to My Heart. And I have a walkthrough of it in a previous video. It's just a gorgeous paper pack. So I knew I wanted to use this particular stamp set on this card. So here is just kind of the inside of the card. I actually decorated the inside. A lot of times I kind of forget about the inside, but on this one, we're going to be decorating the inside and the outside as well. So like I said, using the Serenity paper pack, this is a regular A2 size card. So the measurements are really easy, and the base of this card is quite simple, but it does have a really nice effect. So I went ahead and used this sheet from the Serenity paper pack. This is what it looks like on the back. So this is just cut down 1/4 of an inch less. So when you put it on the card base, it's going to have that nice white border. Then I have a few strips of paper. So this is that same sheet, but we are actually going to use this side. So this is about 3/4 of an inch by 4. Then this is actually the zip strip from this particular paper. So it's about 1/2 of an inch by 4. And then I cut 1/8 of an inch by 4 of the glitter paper. This right here is about 3 inches by 1/2 an inch, or a little over 1/2 an inch. And this will be used for the sentiment. So I am going to change it up just a little bit in the card that we're creating today. On the card I made prior, you can see that there's definitely some shine and glitter to that angel. I used the gold tinsel from Ranger, the embossing powder, but I noticed that a lot of the detail on the angel didn't show up. So today I'm just going to be using the regular gold. And I wanted to kind of show you a close-up of the stamp set, even though it is retired, because it's possible you could get it on eBay or something like that. It's just a really beautiful stamp set. If you can see right here, that is the detail that did not show up when I used the glitter embossing. So I wanted to see if the regular embossing would have that show up, because this is just such a beautiful angel, and this is just such a great stamp set, and I just love the sentiments. This Merry Christmas is probably my most favorite Merry Christmas in all the stamps that I have. And again, this is retired. It is from 2017, but if you are able to get your hands on it, this is indeed what it is called. So even though the paper kind of has a beautiful splatter effect on it, I wanted to add more. So the colors on here are toffee and bluebell. So I wanted to add a little bit of gold glitter and then some more bluebell glitter. So I'm just taking my box, which this is just kind of my splatter box. It's actually an old shipping box from Close to My Heart. And I'm just going to go ahead and get some glitter added to the background. So as always, you just kind of squeeze it where it says push, and then I just tap it on the cap. I kind of want some more, so I'm going to get a little bit more out of there. And this is a brand new shimmer brush as well. So second time using it, want to make sure I get some nice bluebell in the background. And then also using the gold shimmer brush, doing the same thing, opening it up and kind of just getting some nice splatters. So the fun thing with the gold shimmer brush is it gives a nice subtle gold effect. So I believe I do have toffee as well, but I wanted to add the gold to it just for that added bit of shimmer, and then it goes along with that strip down at the bottom. So that is just kind of the card front. I'm going to let that dry just for a little bit, and I'm going to go ahead and get my stamp ready. And what I like to do is kind of rub it a little bit. I did obviously stamp it ahead of time with the card prior, but just to make sure that all of those nice details show up, I'm just going to go ahead and get that rubbed. I'm going to put down the little piece of foam that comes with all the stamp sets, and then we will be using the Versamark ink, because that is what you use when you are using embossing. I know that you can use regular ink as well, but this is actually a stickier formula, which helps the embossing powder actually stick to it. So I'm doing the stamp set straight to the stamp versus the other way. That way I can make sure that I get a lot of it on there. So I can definitely see that I got it on there and a little bit on the block. So I'm just going to go ahead and use this sponge thing. I forgot what that's called, but I'm going to go ahead and use that and kind of wipe it off. So then I'm going to go ahead, place this on the top, making sure I'm getting it higher up because I do have paper at the bottom and some sentiments that are going underneath this. And I'm just going to push down and kind of hold it there for a few seconds and then lift up. So it's really hard to actually see it right now, but you can kind of see the shadow. And then I'm going to go ahead and get the embossing folder added to it. And what I'm going to do is just put it in this little tray. I know I've used this tray before. I've gotten it off of Amazon. It's relatively inexpensive. You could use a coffee filter or a piece of paper as well. I just really like this little tray. I use it for the embossing powder, glitter, sequins, anything that you want to make sure it doesn't go all over the place and that you can just kind of wipe up and put right back in. So again, this is really why I like it, because it's really simple to just pour this all back in there, and then there is little to no waste whatsoever. Then I'm going to just pop that with my heat tool. So I do apologize for the loud noise. And I like to start on the front of the card base with the heat tool, but then also flip it over. And I know I've done this technique a few times before, and I do believe this is from Jennifer McGuire. It's just a really nice tip to get an even melting of the embossing folder, but then your paper is also less likely to warp as well, because this is definitely a hot tool. So you don't want your paper to burn or scorch or fold too much. So you can kind of see right there, and we're getting that nice, beautiful melting effect. Once it is shiny, you can tell that it is all done. So go ahead, make sure that's all nice and dry. And then here is just kind of a close-up of that. So I do think that this actually turned out much better. You do kind of miss some of the snowflakes that the bottom of the angel kind of flows into, but I think this turned out better than the original with the glitter gold. So then the next part of the assembly is just kind of throwing this together. And I'm just going to be using the tape runner. And I really, as always, kind of didn't measure. I just kind of eyeball. I wanted this to be a little bit showing the bottom of that beautiful Serenity paper. So I'm just leaving, I'd say probably 1/8 of an inch at the bottom. Going ahead to get that placed down. Then using the zip strip. And again, this comes from that actual paper. So it's not just the paper pack. It is this sheet of paper, has this awesome zip strip on it. For the little piece of the gold glitter, I'm going to use a little bit of liquid adhesive. I do find that liquid adhesive works better for the glitter paper. It is a thicker paper. I'm going to go ahead and kind of just put that right in the middle right there. And then we'll go ahead and get the sentiment stamped. So the sentiment is also from that stamp set, and it is just simply rejoice. And I'm going to put it on this piece that I cut out about 3 inches. And we will be using the new color Bluebell. So this is the color of the year. It is a really pretty blue. It's not quite a bright blue, it's more of a subtle blue, and I really enjoy this color. So go ahead, get that right in the middle, which I don't think I like that. I'm going to try that again, which is the nice thing about stamping and with the Close to My Heart paper is if you do end up making a mistake, you can flip it over and no one will know. So there we go. That is the sentiment. And I wanted to kind of dovetail it. So I am just going to actually cut this down a little bit. Make sure it's more centered, cutting up in the middle and then doing the little dovetails from the corner out. Same thing on this side, cutting up in the middle and then doing the little dovetail from the corner in. And then you have yourself a little dovetail, which I didn't do quite the same angle. So I'm going to go ahead and try that angle again. And one more time. I kind of want them to, there we go. That looks good. Okay, so we have the Rejoice sentiment. And on the card that I made prior, I went ahead and actually sponged the sides of it. So what I'm using is just one of those little sponge daubers. I have labeled all of mine, and I'm just kind of going to go over and just go around all of this. Just giving a little pop of color. This is something I like to do, especially if you don't want to add too many layers to a card. You could cut out a color. You could cut out the toffee and kind of put it behind it, and that kind of gives the same kind of effect. But this is a really nice way to not add too much bulk to a card, but give it kind of a little bit more dimension as well. So here is the card cover. I'm actually going to go ahead and get this glued down to the card base, and I'm just using today just a simple card base from Close to My Heart. Going ahead and getting this taped down. I'm just using the ATG gun because that tends to be a stronger adhesive. And since we did heat emboss this, it is a little on the warped side. So to make sure that it stays down on the card, I decided to use the more sticky or stronger adhesive. So we'll go ahead and get that laid down. For the Rejoice, which is going to go right there, I am raising it with some of those pieces that come on the inside of the shaker window. So go ahead and get 2 of those down. Definitely trying to use up a lot of things that I have, just so I can say that I used them and not just bought them. So I do like the inside of these shaker windows because you can use this on any piece. So that is the card base. And then I went ahead and added a few of the Bluebell glitter gems. And I added the smaller ones to the original card. And I'm kind of wondering, I think I'm going to stick with it and use the small ones again. And I just put them up here in the corner in a row. And I did play around with using either the glitter gems or the pearls or the sequins, and ended up really liking the look of the glitter gems. I think they add just a little bit of extra color up to the top. And that is the front of the card. So then we are going to work on the inside. And for the inside, I am using the same stamp set. So all of the stamps actually came from that stamp set called Sing Glory. Right now I'm just getting the Merry Christmas on there. And I stuck with the same color palette that was in the paper pack. So I am using the toffee right at the bottom just to add this little decorative piece. And that was slightly off camera, so I'll push this up. So right there, adding that fun little decorative piece. Then next I put the Merry Christmas, and again, this is my absolute favorite Merry Christmas. It's just such a beautiful, elegant font. Putting that right above there. And then last, we're going to be using the Bluebell again. And the big sentiment that is, hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn king. It's a nice big stamp set, and the font is just beautiful. It's very whimsical, and it's just a beautiful font. Go ahead and get that inked up just a little bit more. Put that right there in the middle. Pressing down, holding for a few seconds just so I can get the best image. There we go. And you can see just kind of a close-up of that. It's just such beautiful font and all of them together, and it's just a really great sentiment. So I'm just going to go ahead and get that taped in on the inside. Go ahead, get this put in on the original. I know I went on the outside, so I'm going to go ahead and do that again. I'm going to use Bluebell, and same thing with the sponge dauber, just kind of going around the edges. Again, this gives a nice dimension without adding too much bulk. And I like using these little daubers with that because I have just a ton of them, one for each color. I can label them and keep them in a little container. So I like to use these. And even on retired colors, I tend to keep the retired colors and the little daubers with them as well. I just keep them in a separate container. So going right ahead, or going all around all of these edges. And again, that will make it look a little bit more dimensional just because it's not the white on the white. Go ahead, get that put down, and there is our card. So here is the original. Again, this is with more of the glitter embossing folder or the embossing powder, and then this is with just the regular gold embossing powder. So here are the two cards that we created today using the stamp set Sing Glory along with the Serenity paperback from Close to My Heart. Thank you as always for joining me. Happy crafting, Merry Christmas, and I will see you all next time.